Welcome back to High Thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about UBI and how it's going to be tied into the mark of the beast. UBI is Universal Basic Income. Now, that is a supplemental income just given to you most likely by the government. So what I believe is going to happen is there's going to be some form of hyperinflation or the dollar crashing, which leads to hyperinflation either way, where money pretty much becomes useless. Or, there could be multiple scenarios of where people are losing their jobs for certain reasons, automation, AI, once there are no jobs for most of the Americans, or most Americans have jobs, but it's not paying enough to pay for their basic needs, which is already happening due to government spending, which they try to blame everything else for. It's really them printing more and more money all the time. They won't make good policies such as having police departments pay for their own lawsuits out of the pay of the officers' pensions or just personal salaries. They're using your money, our money, to basically pay these lawsuits when the officers do something wrong. Oh, they got beat up by this officer, here's 10 million. And it happens all the time. I wish there was a statistic on how much they're actually paying out just in lawsuits all over the US, because it's a ridiculous amount. It's just adding to the debt, which will never be paid off. We're fighting about who's going to be president when neither one of those guys is ever going to propose a balanced budget or start to pay that debt back, which is really the only way to stop any of this from happening. So since that's not on the table, they're going to introduce this universal basic income after their own policies and laws basically led us here. So they caused the problem to give you a solution. They didn't create the solution because of the problem. They created the problem to have the solution. So one day they're going to come to you and say, hey, I see everyone can't afford their groceries or their rent. Well, if you take this mark, get this chip inside your hand, just let us know that you're part of this system. We'll take care of you. We'll provide food and shelter for you. You won't have to worry anymore. I know times are hard. Here, let us take care of you and provide for you. And a lot of people are going to do it. That's, 2/3. So that's quite a bit of people. More people than not. 66% are going to take this mark. And, only 1/3 will be left, either fighting out here, just fighting to survive every day, which we're already doing. So me personally, I'm not doing it. Whatever happens, happens. I'll just be out here living off the land or moving to another country, whatever I can. But I know for sure that I won't be taking a mark ever, no matter what the consequences are. But that's why I believe they are trying to keep increasing the debt so that this dollar can crash as fast as possible. They're speeding it up by giving money away to other countries. Just any way possible they can use the money, that's not beneficial to the masses. 'Cause they don't want you to be happy and, stable. They want you in a constant state of fear, so you're more willing to accept the changes they make. Even though they cause these problems, they want to act like they're the ones that are going to save you. It's like, do not trust the people who caused the problem. That would be common sense. Like, hey, you caused this problem. I'm not going to listen to anything else you have to say. That's when a real revolution should begin. Once they show you who they are for real, and it can't be denied. It doesn't matter if you go to work, because that's most people's problems right now. They don't want to lose the little bit they do have by protesting and being out in the streets. Because, hey, I'm still have bills to pay. Well, one day you won't be able to pay your bills anymore. It won't matter. So when that day comes, I hope you rise up and say no more, because that's the only time right before they implement all of this that we'll be able to come together and say no to this scheme. And it's right in our faces. They kind of started trying to introduce it during the pandemic, with the digital ID. That's a part of it. It was a test run, seeing how many people comply and are willing to follow right away. And guess what? Those numbers for people who were vaccinated were pretty close to that 2/3. It was actually a little higher than that. So believe that, Now, will the same people be fooled twice? I can't answer that, but it looks like, people are going to die before they learn. So I think we're in for something we've never seen. It's going to be worse than anything any other generation has seen. And it's going to be a lot of death. And I hope that you are stocking up and at least preparing for this time of tribulation, where you can, be all right for a couple of days, let all the crazy stuff happen. And, because the first couple of days are going to be the worst. So if you can make it through those, I'm not saying it's going to be smooth sailing, but it'd be a lot better than being out in the streets those first couple of days when everything happens and, people are looting. Officers aren't in the street, because if money doesn't matter anymore, you're not going to have officers. They just won't be important anymore. It'll be every man for himself, every family for himself. So I hope you have good relationships with your neighbors, those close to you, because that's going to be the people looking out for you. And we're all going to have to work together to make it through it. But, even your neighbors might say they're going to do something like, hey, yeah, we'll join together and grow food. And then, once the dollar crashes, all they're going to do is take that mark. And then, how easy it is for them to say, hey, we're gonna increase your budget today. You'll not only be able to pay your bills and eat food, you'll be able to buy some nice things, new technology. You want that, don't you? Just tell us which one of your neighbors doesn't have that mark. You're doing something for your country. Be patriotic. And it's just gonna lead to people selling out others, which how fast that was happening. We saw an example of this during COVID. So just be on the lookout. Please be smarter. Don't let them get you, because it's coming. We don't know when, but I can tell you we don't have a decade of interest payments left on our debt. We can't pay it. It's already more than, I believe it was military spending already. Soon, in a year or two, it's going to be more than Medicare and Social Security spending. That puts it at number 2. We're putting out more money on interest than almost everything else. So once it hit number 1, it's just going to be a snowball effect, and it's just going to keep growing and growing, and they're going to come up with a solution that will not be to your benefit. So be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about it, what your plans are. If you already have a community or you're building one, I guess don't put it in the comments, because we don't want them to be snitched out already. But like and subscribe. Let me know if you're interested in these types of videos.